Okay, people. So, right, I checked out Zoom 100, right? Bucket List of the Dead. It's a new Netflix film. Um, it's directed by Yûsuke Ishida, written by Tatsuro Mishima. The film is Doom, doom, doom. Let's try it. And gosh, the credits are all over the place. Produced by Akira Mori, executive produced by Shinichi Takahashi, uh, Yoshiaki Dwyer handled the music, Taru Kawazu, cinematography, Eri Uzuki edits the piece. Oh, yeah. No, hair and makeup is Risuda and Sushi Umezawa. Um, our cast, Akira Tendo is played by Eiji Akaso. His best friend Keniro Rozaki is played by Shuntaro Yanji. And the girl, kind of the love interest, I guess. Shizuka Mikazuki. She's played by Mai Shirashi. Akira's boss, Gunzo Kazugi, is played by Kazuki Kitamura. There's Sumiri, played by Akira Hayami, right? And Otori, Victoria Grace. Right, the listings are horrible, so that's all you're getting. Now the gist of this film: surviving a zombie apocalypse beats being a wage slave any day. After spending years slaving away for a soul-crushing company, Akira's life. Okay. Akira's life has lost its luster. He lives in a trash-filled apartment. His pay is abysmal, and he can't even muster up the nerve to confess his love to his beautiful co-worker. But when a zombie apocalypse ravages his town, it gives him the push he needs to live for himself. Now Akira is on a mission to complete all 100 items on his bucket list before he, well, kicks the bucket. Well, two things here. Firstly, right, he's been at the company a year, right? It's a year before, supposedly, before everything goes to hell, right? Before the zombies and all of that kind of thing. So it's not it's not years. It's not a crazy amount of time, you know? Yeah, and he doesn't have 100. He doesn't even have a bucket list before the zombies hit, right? And there's not 100 things on that bucket list. That's the weird thing. I don't know why this film is called Zoom 100. Because I assumed there was 100 things, right? And we're seeing him like tick these things off. No, like only after a while does he decide to. I think it's like 40 minutes in that he decides to write this bucket list. And it seems that he's struggling to have things on that bucket list. Right. And one of the things is have what is it? Have a meal or have drinks. I think it's have drinks with a flight attendant. Like you're just what? You know what I mean? It's just a weird fucking bucket list. It's a weird bucket list. Right. This is an odd film. And I was like, this is very bizarre. Now, it makes more sense when I find out that is an adaptation of a manga comic book from Haro Aso and Kotaro Takata. Right. So the first volume, I believe, came out in 2019. Now, that might just be the English adaptation came out in 2019 because there's 13 volumes. The 13th came out earlier this year. So, I mean, that's a lot. So, yeah, it might be, it's actually older than 2019, you know, and this is just the English adaptation kind of thing. The manga has also been adapted to a anime, right? Which I think it's on Netflix in the States. It's not on Netflix in the UK, right? And those things definitely make a lot of sense when you then think, oh, right, so they adapted those materials into this live action because it does play out like it is something in that vein, you know, because you get this weird, well, everything kind of plays off a little bit odd. Everything just, you know, the over the topness of the reactions, what they do, just all of that. It's just a bit weird, right? Because we've seen a lot of films dealing with zombies. And listen, I'm not saying every zombie film, TV show, all of that kind of thing needs to be exactly the same. No, no, no. Because it's fun when they're different, right? When you look at things like 28 days 28 days later. I think there was a Netflix series called Black Summer. I think it was called Black Summer, right? Which, you know, the zombies were very different in both of those shows, you know? I mean, 28 weeks was days, right? Well, I mean, there's days, weeks, right? It was the one that introduced the fast zombie, right? Because up to that point, they were very rambling. But yeah, that was the first one with the fast zombie, which was just like, yo, which I think was one of the biggest kind of evolutions in the whole zombie game, you know, up to that point. So no, not everything needs to be the same. But there's certain things that you kind of think, right, yes, this is what people would do in this situation. Like survival, right? That's a big thing here. You know, if you're venturing out, you're taking some sort of weapon with you. And you know, it's not to say everyone's got a sword at home or a shotgun, but you might have a baseball bat, a cricket bat, you know what I mean? Something. If not a kitchen knife, or you might see a pole, right? Bring a broom with you, just something to hit, a long range weapon, as it were. That's what you do. That it just makes fucking sense. You're not going out without that. We have Akira go out several times with no weapons. Several times, right? And then one occasion he gets into trouble. and he is saved, right? He is saved. And we see how the person saves him. Now, you'd think when that happens, you'd go, oh my God, right? Even if to this point you've got him go out without weapons, right? Once you've been in that situation and then you saw what works, you'd be like, right, I need to do that. Yes, that makes so much sense. No, still does not arm himself up. Right? There's a thing where, well, actually, the rules constantly change. Right? Is at the very start, we have these zombies running after him. Right? And he doesn't make any noise, but they just run after him. But then, you know, we're shown that they go after noise, right? There is a part when the zombies seem to be like, they're not going after you visually, which kind of makes sense because if you're dead and everything is rotten, your eyes won't work, right? So that kind of makes sense. But we're saying now that it's they follow noise, right? And even if you stand still or you're not making noise, they're not going to go for you. But then later in the film, that is changes. So it's just like, what are the rules? What are the actual rules? Because if there's no rules, these dum-dums are not surviving. They are not surviving one little bit. And how much noise? Because there's a part when they're in this place and we see a couple of zombies chilling there, right, at the start, which, again, weird, because a zombie's not just going to chill, right? It doesn't really make any sense. So we have them creep past these zombies, and then they're just relaxing, but they're talking and they're making some noise. So it's just like, are zombies attracted to no? Like, what is happening here? Right? It's very bizarre in that fact. We have them do a load of. There's a bit, and this isn't really a spoiler because it doesn't lead to anything or anything like that, but they go paragliding. They go paragliding. Now, they've never been paragliding before. Paragliding isn't just a thing where you go, oh, yeah, I think I'll give that a try. And you just do. No, you would have to be given instructions. There's safety, the landing, the taking off, that riding currents. There's so many things here. But also, if you've never done it, you won't know how to direct yourself. So getting back to your transport, you know what I mean? The fact you probably will crash, like you might crash anywhere. So you might crash into a whole place full of zombies, right? You just wouldn't do it. It makes no fucking sense. It makes no sense. Like, going out onto the water before you understand what the deal with the water is, right? There's just all of these things that they start to do, and you're just like, what is going on? We have zombies in places, but characters are acting like they can't hear the zombies, which is bonkers, right? There's a bit where someone gets bitten and changes real fast. And then later on, it takes ages for this person to change, which, again, The rules. What are the fucking rules? This is, for me, it was all over the place. It was all over the place. Film is, what, I think, just over 2 hours. And it felt very long. Oh my gosh, it just dragged. It dragged. I was yeah, I was very happy when it finished. Oh my god. This was not for me. And yeah, I think if I'd known it was based on a manga and an anime, I definitely would have stayed clear. Because now, to say I hate anime is very broad, because I just remember growing up, there was a couple that I watched and I really enjoyed them. Something about four kings and dragons. Oh, it was great. It was great. I think it was called The Four Kings. I cannot remember because I've never seen it again. But I really enjoyed the hell out of that. But other ones after that, I've tried. And I hate them. Now, I think partly it's the dubbing, right? Because you think, okay, are people, in the original language version, do they talk like that? Like, are the reactions like that? Because it's always, oh my God, I can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I've been bad. And you're just like, why are you talking like a little 5-year-old? This is fucking weird. You're a grown person. What is happening here? That's the kind of thing that I hate. And this is very much in that vein, right? It's very much in that vein, like just the whole work thing, right? Being like, oh, is it in the synopsis where it's like he hasn't been there for years. He's been there a year. It's been there a year. And you just think it's his first ever fucking job, right? How many people have been in their first job that was shit? Right, was shit. But you then learn, actually, I don't have to put up with this kind of shit. Right, these are the boundaries. Right, you work a lot of things out, and it's not to say your first job should be shit, but I think a lot of people relate to a shitty first job. But all this stuff is kind of on him, right? Get another job. That's the thing. Get another fucking job. Like, tell your boss, please don't talk to me like that. Right, mate, there might be consequences, but at least say it, right? So a lot of the things that go on to Akira are his own fault in a way, So I didn't like any of literally none of the characters. You have a character that's just like, I'm a lone wolf, as it were. And it's just like, why? Right? And like towards the end, they apologize and be like, oh, I'm sorry. You saved me. And it's kind of like, but that character saved the others a whole heap of other times, which is very weird. Right? It's just like, well, you'd save them. So, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, be polite and all, but it's just weird. Yeah, I hated it. Hated it. But this is the thing. If you like manga and anime, you might very well like it. Like if you've watched the animated series, you probably will enjoy it, right? And it's the person that wrote this manga also wrote Alice in what is it called? Alice in Zombieland, the Borderland, Alice in the Borderland. There's another live action Netflix adaptation of that. So I imagine if you like that too, this will work for you. Right. In 2021, There was Love and Monster, right? If you enjoyed that film, I think you will enjoy this. So yes, those people are my benchmarks. So though I detested this, you very well may enjoy it. So yeah, Zoom 100 Bucket List of the Dead is out now.